I made a dozen or so of these side tipper wagons for the next layout because I've got a ship to load, and I thought it'd make a change from V-tippers. They're all fabricated out of wood, and I'm relatively pleased with them. But of course, the underlying thing, like everything, is that they have to be practical. They have to work. So they do work. These are in fact laser cut out of plywood and 2mm MDF, but of course you can make them any which way you want. The salient points about this is the pivot on which the body mounts to the chassis is first of all high up, but also it's off-centre, and the pivot is moved slightly towards the door by, I think, 1.5mm, if I remember rightly, and that helps itself right and helps stop it from tipping over in traffic. I just found it performs much better that way, with the pivot slightly offset. I've had to add a little mechanism to open the door. Just zoom in a bit. A little lever, so that when it tips, it forces the door open as well, like that. So it's linked, because otherwise, of course, with a model, Sod's law would say that the door would jam, which is rather undesirable. So the door is, or the action of the door, is very much locked into the tipping. So tipping it, most of you have actually seen it. We have this man, so instead of just a wire coming up and pushing it, or of course on the end of the line I had a rail ramp that the wagon pushed up against and tipped the V-tipper over. We have this. So the man actually does it. Now, the man will be upstage, i.e. away from the audience, so hopefully the wire won't be so obvious. But nonetheless, I quite prefer having a man do it, even if he is superhuman strong. I recognise that. At the moment he's running off 3.7 volts. I will lower the voltage. I might just use 1.5 volts, which will slow him down and make it look like a lot more effort. But nonetheless, that's a good start. So a man will do the actual tipping. Now, the mechanism for him doing that, let us have a look. It's one of my N20 gear motors underneath there, and the bit that's doing the work is this printed wheel with a pin in it, and then this sliding assembly with this monstrosity which looks as if it's out of Wallace and Gromit apart from anything else, which does the action. And of course you'll notice a detent on each side with a micro switch which actually stops and allows it to start. So if I press the button, that's what happens. So if you like, it's a beautifully simple system. Not a lot there to go wrong. And then there is simply a wire at the end. I don't know if you can see, probably not. No, I can't really see. But the wire is connected in there just through a hole and bent round. But that's kind of all there is to it. And he will do his stuff till the cows come home. So that's all there is to him, really. And the rest is in the position. And of course you've got to position him on the track in such a position whereby he can reach to do his job, but he's not standing so close that he gets knocked over by any passing loco. It looks a bit more spectacular when there's some rock or something like that to be unloaded, but that's what happens with that one. Now we have a little bit further away, and bear with me, we have, let me unplug that and let me plug in that, if I can see to do it. Yeah, that's that plugged in. We have, and let me move things along a bit, a 009 version, a 4mm version. Now he's not ideally positioned. He's that's why he's so strong at the moment. He's picking up the wagon. The track could do with being a millimetre higher. Now, man-wise, he's much the same, except he's got, let me zoom back out, he's got a slightly different mechanism, which is entirely self-explanatory. There's a pin on the underside of that which locates in this circle. But other than that, you see what you get. Micro switch clicks into the detent, switches it on and off, and I've got a little push switch which just powers it up enough to start it off again. Very, very simple mechanism, and on the whole a very, very reliable mechanism. This is all printed on an FDM filament printer, and that'll sort of keep going till the cows come home. The wagon itself is printed in resin and has really come out quite nicely. And let us have a look at the wagon. Very small little 009 wagon, and very, very sweet it is. I didn't think I'd get away with an inside frame wagon, but I did, and I'm quite pleased with it. There's a little strip of lead between the frames, which you can just see, and that's to add a bit of weight, obviously, to help things along. And there's another strip of lead just there. It's painted the same colour as the body, and that just helps bring the body back down. And those two little strips of lead are enough to give it stability both on the track and in its tipping action. And on the right of it you can then see the wire that opens the door. The chopper coupling is also 3D printed, but it's come out a delightful little wagon, and I've got I think I printed 10 of these. It took lot longer to paint than it did to make, actually. Mosquito wheels, delightful, absolutely delightful wheels they are. But it makes for a very, very nice... Whoops, out of focus, never mind. A very, very nice little wagon. And it's almost enough to make you take up 009 seriously. It's the quality you can get nowadays is great. I confess I've got a couple of Baldwins which are just absolutely delightful models. So I shall do something with the Baldwins and these wagons, and we'll have fun with that in 4mm. So we have 7mm and we have 4mm, same trick, nice light bit of animation, nothing too sophisticated, but it just makes a little bit of a change to see something like this. Hope you find it interesting and possibly stimulating if nothing else. Thank you.